Pay attention guys, we have currently opened up a limited amount of spots for free one-on-one coaching with me and Adam for the people who now join the Mechanics of Poker program. So are you ready to improve your game? Go over to the site and sign up to the Mechanics of Poker program. Also make sure to join our Discord channel and sign up to our newsletter so you don't miss out on any new promotions. Hello, my Twitch friends. What's up? We're gonna do another little high stakes review. And the reason for that is we've got the biggest compliment of PokerStars you can imagine, as they put my account under investigation for possible bot use. Okay, so we were that GTO that they decided to check, hey, let's check out what's going on with this account. So big compliment. That's how hard we crushed them. Today, yeah, botting on stream. Yeah, I even sent them a link to the stream and to the YouTube. Say, listen, you know, I look quite human while playing. Don't you agree? It's just, you know, they said your frequencies seem quite GTO, sir. Do you use any sort of assisting software while playing? So yeah, I had to inform them no. Let me talk to them. You make plenty of mistakes. Yeah. I even said that in the email. I said, if your data shows, what did I said, like, if your data shows something, if you've seen a leak, please do inform me. Up until then, guys, we got a little game on our hands with Mr. ja.sam, Mr. makeboifin again on Linus, two usual suspects. We also reviewed them in the last Highstakes reel. And we got Dutch sensation, the one and only pokerkluka in the house. All right, let's just get into action. They're playing two tables. Okay, so it's a bit easier than last time. Linus went for the check raise. So Linus 3-bet, makeboifin called. It's a hand that you could consider 4-betting any sizing, jam, small, whatever. And Linus, I think, just goes for the check raise, get in, if I'm not mistaken. So he blocks ace-10 suited. He just goes straight away for the jam. Okay. Not a small check raise, but straight away for the jam. He has ace-king with the king of spades, guys. What do we think of this action? What do we think of the check jam? We already have the spoiler. It's the king of spades versus the nuts. So, obviously, punt or no punt, GTO. Shout out to Mr. Easy with Aces. Punt or no punt. Equity denial play. Yeah, I mean, it's for sure an equity denial play. You're denying equity from King Jack, King Queen. And obviously the benefit always with these kind of holdings is that you get called by worse, right? He will call you with ace-5 of spades, for example. And you have extra equity just in case he has a hand like 10 jack suited. So I don't hate this play. Check jams are definitely a thing on this board. So, I mean, I don't mind it. Blocks best tens. Yeah, it indeed blocks best tens, but yes, it blocks best tens. Bully play. I remember this guy offering CFP dues a couple of years ago. He still has, actually. No, he still, I think he still has the CFP deal together with, what's his name? Scorpy. So yeah, first stack goes to makeboifin, guys. We face a quarter c-bet, which is quite standard-ish. But shouldn't be overdone, actually. We've 3-betted from the big blind. But then again, we're talking theory here. In practice, I think it's a fine play. And get a call, which makeboifin should do very often. And the 8 turn here is interesting. I think it is a reasonable blank. 8-7 suited can be in both players' ranges. 8-9 suited can be in both players' ranges. 8-10 suited, more likely in ja.sam's range than in makeboifin. So I think the 8 is a reasonable blank. I would expect, it depends kind of on your opponent. But I think here I would prefer a more polarized approach. But you can definitely also find a couple of blocks. But first, the cutoff, I personally prefer to either start betting flop even smaller, like the 10% that we talked about. But after a quarter, I don't mind just checking and reevaluating the situation. And when I say reevaluating the situation is how fucking crazy is my opponent, aka how aggressive is he? And then the more aggressive he is, the more I will call. The more passive he is, the more I will fold. Check, check. And now if I'm ja.sam, I will do quite a lot of small betting. Mix in actually also with some very big bets. I don't mind it. But it's a very small part of your strategy. I think a lot of my hands that actually want to bet big might want to check or bet small. So I think just checking or betting small is a fine strategy. Kaku just subscribed. Thank you very much. Subscribe for 4 months. Hashtag loyalty. And he's even on a 3-month streak. Shout out to Mr. Kaku, guys. He goes again for the check. I would assume now this is something that has showdown value, but maybe was a bit too thin to bet. But I cannot really think of too many hands. Or maybe he just has a give up like king, queen of clubs or something. Nines? I would, yeah, nines is an option, or king, queen of clubs. We're just gonna read him quite accurately here. Yes, ace, king. So this is to what I said earlier, why I don't want to have too much big bets. I get the check. It makes a lot of sense. What would be the benefit of checking over betting? The main benefit. There is, I think, one main benefit here. Do you think a strong bench press helps or detrimental to avoid chicken dance plays? You don't get raised. No, you're completely in the wrong direction, I would say. Because if you go for a bet check bet line here for a small sizing, you want to get raised. If you don't get raised, you should never bet check bet with a small sizing. Yeah, he's check raising all the way. That's the point. So it's a turn on which makeboifin is gonna check back quite some aces, ace X. And basically what happens on the river is if we check and he bets, he's gonna bet every ace X and then we can raise. Whereas if we bet ourselves, an ace X is usually not raising unless we bet very small. And that's why I said there's no real reason to bet big. When was the session played and where is it possible to watch? Session was played a week ago, 1.5 week ago, 2 weeks ago. And you can rewatch it at Highstakes Poker Stream. It's an interesting hand. I think he thinks that makeboifin would be quite aggressive on the turn. I preferably would just bet this hand on the turn, I think. But the more aggressive your opponent is, I think it's played fine. And here we get a small c-bet from Kluka, a spot where ja.sam is going to do quite some check raising. He doesn't. He just calls. Here we also get a call. makeboifin is going to respond again by slowing down in terms of his bet sizing here. So we'll see the same concept come back 3 times. So for example, if you don't understand why this is happening, this is a clear thing that you will see a lot of players do. So a big opportunity for win rate game, right? Always when you watch other players play, you want to look for things that they constantly do that you're not doing. And just assuming, you know, giving these guys some credit that they know something that you don't. Check call, check, check, turn. Not really a turn, I think Kluka is gonna do a lot of pot controlling. So I would say Kluka here is quite weak and ja.sam still uncapped. So I would expect ja.sam to do some firing. Up to what stakes do you think I could get away with being overly aggressive? So far, analysing Zoom has been working. You can get away with it, I think, up until 1k. I've seen this quite often, that people are just aggressive for the sake of being aggressive. And that works up until you reach 1k. And then there's a lot of players who really have to recalibrate their aggression, right? But definitely, I would say over-aggression versus... and this is also the problem. Usually people who are over-aggressive, they kind of have the mindset of fighting for pots. You should be over-aggressive in the right spots, right? If you think you can get away with being very aggressive versus your population because, you know, they just give up too often, then don't go and fucking re-raise them when they are finally showing that they're interested in the hand. Then you're just spewing away money. Overly attacking cap ranges, yeah. In general, estimate if your opponent is weak. And yeah, if you think he is and apply a lot of pressure, hey, it's probably gonna work. At any level, that is. But in general, obviously, the thing is, when you say like over aggression, like what's gonna happen when you move up stakes, you're gonna nuance. Okay, what a good spot to be over aggressive, what a good spot to be overly passive. You cannot just say is over aggressive, being over aggressive, is that a good strategy? There's way too much nuances involved. I have 30% flop raise versus c-bet when GTO is 5%. Okay, I would say in general, that's an okay strategy. On the flush completing turn, is the strategy different in position? Yes, the strategy is slightly different in position, but you will see the same trend because the trend. So there's some main concepts for in position play, out of position play, and there's main concepts on how strategies change when boards become wet or connected or disconnected and dry. Okay, there's main strategic differences that you have to start understanding, which apply in all spots. But in this case, in position and out of position, there's a big difference in terms of bet sizing used. You will see that in position is more likely to check, whereas out of position is more likely to bet small. No, you won't get cracked. Like at certain points, you're gonna start to add nuances to your strategy. So ja.sam here goes for a big bet, which I really like. And I think he can do with a very big part of his range. And I think pokerkluka, the nature of the spot sort of is that he's just, he basically always has a bluff catcher or he has something that he has to fold. That's kind of the nature of the spot. Actually, the nature of the spot, guys, is something that I wrote down to add as a topic in the mechanics. There's a philosophy section. I'm gonna add there understanding. What was my title again? Understanding and flowing with the nature of the spot. Very important concept. Understanding nature of spots and how they play. And what happens if you don't play by the rules of the nature of the spot. I might have seen some top players HUDs with that number. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of... take Stefan, for example, very aggressive guy. And you also see phases. I remember Linus, for example, had a phase where he was very aggressive and then suddenly switched to a strategy where he was very passive, or at least passive on earlier street. I'm pretty sure GTO raises more c-bets than any regular. I would actually also say that that's... GTO is very aggressive. So we got a check turn, check river. Say most likely holding now of makeboifin is like a 10 jack suited or something, an ace 10 suited, maybe an 8. But I'll put the majority of my money I will put on a 10x suited type of hand. Kluka's in a tank. He checks. So they both actually indeed had a suited 10, which I think is very likely. Kluka, I guess, was considering if he should be bluffing his hand, but then estimated that his showdown value is a little bit too high. This is actually something that some players will then also guess wrong. They will just be like, yeah, well, if I bet he's gonna fold a better hand. That is part of the equation, yes, but not everything. Do you want to have a better understanding of what's going on in these videos? In our Mechanics of Poker program, we focus on when and why certain strategy generates highest EV and how to perform more consistently at the poker tables. So you can get a deeper understanding of how poker really works and how to get more success in poker. So do you want over $30K worth of value? Go over to the site and join our Mechanics of Poker program. Here we see a bigger sizing. We saw makeboifin use a 3/4 sizing quite often. It's quite common on these type of textures that you will start to use some bigger sizings. The texture is way different than the A66 rainbow, for example. Get a call, interesting turn. Expect a big bet from makeboifin. Pot! That's typical something from makeboifin. But I would say bigger, but I've seen him do a lot of potting, so that's why I went for it. He checks. Would say it's not necessarily straight away a fact that he is weak. So Kluka checks again. Yeah, in general, the nature is that he's gonna have some weak showdown value or a trap that he's looking to check raise the river with. makeboifin does go for the bet. Main type of value hand here. Don't know if he goes as thin as a hand like King 10 suited. But a jack could definitely be an okay hand. And then we're probably looking at a hand like Ace Jack, King Jack. Don't know if he bets Jack 5 suited this size on the flop. In terms of bluff, something like Ace Deuce suited or something is an option. Ace Deuce of spades. I think that's these type of holdings. That's something that we have to look out for. King 5 suited. Definitely also some suited hands. Like for example a King 7 of diamonds. Let's see what pokerkluka does. It's a spot where makeboifin is capped. So let me see. If we're playing versus Mr. Louter up 2, he would now put his stack in. At 100 NL that is, I don't know if he would put in 9.5k in this spot. So the 5.5k is indeed released by pokerkluka. Main value hand that this makes a lot of sense with is a hand like Jack 10. It's the first hand that would come into my mind that would always prefer check raising. He has a straight and he got called quite fast. I think a straight doesn't mind betting small on the river instead of checking, but he did bet quite big on the flop, so pokerkluka could have estimated his range to be a little bit more polarized, and then betting, then doing checking. Then checking makes a little bit more sense. Shout out to Kluka. Kluka has been watching the stream, stealing my strategies. Over a little 10%. Yeah, so the 2x, basically 2-2. When there's 2-2 on the board in that spot. Let's say, for example, Mr. Ellen Garner. I'll make it Ellen Garner. If you limp from the small blind, like we saw Linus do, for example, and the big blind checks, and then there's 2-2-3, which is also a pair board, you would probably just check range. Whereas if we made a 3-bet and the flop comes 10-10 deuce, basically the deuce is a blank. It's a very dry board. It has no connectivity with the imposition calling range to the 3-bet. Whereas it has very high connectability with the big blind check back range, who has deuce 8 offsuit. So it's not necessarily the board is dry or the board is paired that drives the strategy. It's the range interaction that drives the strategy. Hard for opponent to defend enough of their range. Yeah, basically Linus has to overfold. He follows it up with another small bet, which I like as well. Actually, I wouldn't mind going even smaller. Small bet, call. And he goes for the triple small bet in your face, which I definitely like. I think this is a very good line taken, okay, by Kluka. And if you want to understand the EV behind this strategy that is using, because this is a very common type of strategy, and if you also want to understand the call of Linus, I made a little 3-bet pots out of position masterclass, as we saw earlier. And I'm currently working on the small blind versus big blind masterclass. So wait, so he showed up with the 10 jack, which is a very good bluffing candidate, as it blocks ace 10, ace jack, king 10, king jack. Even though you could make an argument that after 10% and after 20% on the turn, while my camera becomes a little bit blurry, that he doesn't really have those anymore. So you could actually make an argument that this is not a great bluffing hand. And Linus called with 5s, which I think is a very good bluff catching candidate, especially if Kluka does decide to bluff a hand like this. His reasoning is he wants to bet more ace-x, so he has to go smaller for 3 streets. That is part of the strategy, yes. Fuck, I know again I missed what happened in this hand. Why do I keep on missing? What's going on here? This is a... he opened 245. Okay, checked pot turn. That makes sense. 5 of hearts is relevant. Yeah, it's relevant as in not a great card. But this also depends how much suited connectors you think Kluka is betting the turn with. So call, interesting river. Yeah, you would rather call 5s no heart on the turn. We got a snap call from ja.sam. And I think a bet from makeboifin who had king queen, right? So he pot turn with king queen. Yes, makes sense. And then pots the river. 3/4. What does he do? Block? No pot, right? I think pot's way too much. Yeah, block. Again, we see a similar concept. Where they go for these tiny little bets.
Okay. I mean, anyways, once he checks, he either has something or not. I would just jam, and if he has a 10, he'll call. If not, he'll fold. It's as easy as that. I would just jam here. I think he has... This is your damn fuck! God damn it! Why do you do this shit all the time? All the fucking time! I teach you, don't do those gay bets. Why do you have to do it? Why? I don't get it. Why?
I love this clip, man. Yeah, I agree. Here it's definitely... This is definitely more of an induction sizing. I completely agree with you. We will play that one next time. So that's also a reason why ja.sam just snaps. Maybe he also had a king, like king 9 of clubs or something. Okay, get it all in here from Linus. So I expect ace-10 suited or some type of draw. Actually, not a strange spot to just play your value fast. So let's say you have 9s, so just ship it in. Oh, or aces. This is a play that not a lot of people make, but definitely a good play. And I think ja.sam could maybe just check flop with his hand. It's definitely not a spot you want to be betting too often. No, you should definitely just take a 5 to showdown blind versus blind. Poker Ambition, there's a cool meme with Helmut dodging GTO and theory, etc. It's a fun clip to add during stream. Can you send me the link? Ah, Joe Ingram has it on his channel, I think. Yeah, tell me where it is. I love a good helmet clip. Who doesn't like a good helmet clip? Where are my helmet clips? Where are my helmet clips?
Idiot players call raises with queen 10. They don't even know how to spell poker. I mean,
How much do you think Helmut would lose in this lineup? Be right back, washing machine. Okay. This is a good place to pause the video when makeboifin runs to his washing machine. If you guys have any, I asked it the other day. I was talking with a follower of Poker Ambition as well, and he kind of for content ideas. Make sure, guys, to join our Discord. Okay. Also, because we got some. I've been working today all day. As you can see, I made a couple of new clips. As I was working on the promotions around the Poker Ambition Academy. I know people have been waiting for that. I've been trying to be creative and thinking of ways how we can make cool promotions around the launch, which is gonna probably happen end of next month. And I came up with a couple of good ideas, so make sure you are in the Discord so you are gonna be part of the promotions. Now, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Take a look at other videos that we've made. I'm sure you will like them as well. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And make sure to join our Discord community so you can stay up to date with new content, new promotions that we have running here at Poker Ambition. And if you want to know more about Poker Ambition and our services, go over to the site pokerambition.com. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.